Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Welcome to this edition of Mike's Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. Thanks for tuning in today. My special guest from Berne Union High School, Sonya and Bob Downour. How are you doing?
Great.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having us.
Now, I know you guys do both cross country and track, but what do you do in the off season?
Yeah, what off season?
There's no off season, right?
We try to take a little bit of time and spend together, but yeah.
How long have you guys been at Berne Union? Give us a little history of.
I've been there. This will be my 33rd year, starting as track coach.
You started when you were 2.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, so I've been doing that. I coached a little bit of basketball in between there, but been at track for about 33 years now. And
wow.
So.
And I've been at about 31 years for track and 16 years for cross country. And I also coached basketball for over 20 years. At one time, I was doing 3 varsity sports year-round.
Now, that's got to be taxing. I mean, that's got to be...
very little sleep.
A lot of phone calls, very little sleep. Well, you guys have had great success at Berne Union. I mean, it goes without saying how well the program is there. What got you into track? Were you high school? I mean, college? Talk a little bit about how you got into all this.
Well, we both were athletes at Berne Union. We both graduated from there. And after I graduated, I can't say when I graduated that I really had ever thought about coaching. You know, it wasn't completely out of the realm, but the athletic director happened to call me up one day and told me there was a track position open, asked me if I'd be interested in taking it. And it all started back then for me, and I never looked back. I've loved every minute of it. It's been great to work with the kids. It's been a great opportunity, and of course, we make a pretty good team, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I started out actually with basketball, coaching basketball. Coach Mallory was there then, and he asked me if I'd be interested. And then at the time, I couldn't work it in with my schedule because I've always wanted to do it.
Sure.
And then it just so happened a few years later, I had the opportunity to get in. And then the track came around a few years later. Coach Dill was there, and he needed an assistant. And he asked me if I'd be interested since I ran track in high school.
Now, is track and cross country, everybody talks about year-round sports. You know, is it something kids do year-round now, or do they take time off to take a break and then come back? Or
a lot of our athletes, I'll speak for the girls anyway, play other sports besides just track and cross country. You know, some of them may be volleyball players, some of them are basketball players. So in their off season of our sport, pretty much they're participating in one of their other sports. Being from a small school, you know, a lot of them are 2- and 3-sport athletes. We do recommend for, you know, our kids that are the definite runners who run cross country and run track. We'd like to see them work in the off season, you know, just keep a good base foundation running. But there are, you know, there's some running clubs out there that are starting more with adults, but it's starting to filter down into some of the younger kids now. I know we have one of the girls on our team, her mother's part of a running club, and she goes with her mother and runs in the off season. Mm-hmm. So it is starting to filter down, but we don't have a lot of the club like they do in the other sports that's offered. So.
We basically the biggest thing is we tell our kids as soon as track season's over, because those who've participated in cross country and track, we want them to take a couple weeks off and just be kids, go have some fun and relax, because it's stressful to them. Give them a chance to get away from it for a little while and then get started again, and just keep things going over the summer so that when you come into the fall season, you're not totally out of conditioning.
Now, people talk about running different distances and all those things, and some train year-round, some don't. But when you're training, or your teams are ready, how much do they run? I mean, if you're a miler, are you running 15 miles a week, or what do you?
Well, if they're a miler or 2 miler, they're going to be running more than that So
You can tell I don't know a lot about it.
then obviously most of those kids are coming out of cross country and they're used to that kind of mileage, having the extended miles. But then there's some speed work that goes with it, and we usually use track for the speed part of our cross country program. So we want our cross country kids on the track team just for that part of it. So they're spending a little bit more time working that part in the spring, and then in the summer and fall getting their mileage and that type of stuff in. So we use it back. It's kind of nice to get the track athletes back. Those guys who like to run the quarter mile and the 800 meter. We try to get them out for cross country to keep their base and stuff going for the spring, but that doesn't always work out with football. You're competing against football and then basketball. Some of them are basketball players. So,
As coaches, what do you look for in athletes? I mean, is it just somebody comes to you and says, "Boy, I want to be a miler," and you look at him and say, "I don't know." I mean, what do you? Is there?
Well, some of the kids sometimes have an interest in certain areas that they'd like to try. What we try to do at the beginning of the season is we do a time trials day where we just kind of have the kids participate in different, events, some sprint events, distance events. We don't usually incorporate the field events in that. And then we just kind of get a base idea of where those kids are at and, what their interests are. They don't always get to choose what they're going to run. We have a lot of utility athletes sometimes that cross over and do different things for us. But it's funny when the kids come to us, they look at our sport as we run, we've ran before, but of course our job is to make them the most efficient runner that they can become. So we have to start working on form and doing some technical things to try to improve and correct that to get the best we can out of them.
Okay, that's a good point, because people, I know I've had friends that have run, and the coaches will say, "Well, you just go run." Their parents will say, "Well, you just go run." But technical form, talk a little bit about that, because there's more to it than what somebody sees you running down the road and it's like, "Oh yeah, they're running." But talk a little bit about what it takes to actually be a runner.
obviously, some of the technique stuff, form running that we do. I mean, we do it every day. There's positioning of your body, where you should be with your arms, your head, your shoulders, and I mean, this all comes into play. And there's some mechanics that you cannot correct. I mean, obviously, you're just built the way you're built sometimes, but there are things that we can do. There's some things that we can do to help correct it, but at that point, there's only so much. But if the kid really wants to improve, and they have never ran before, and that's what we find in our sport a lot of times. Kids that haven't competed in other sports will come out for track because they see their friends do it, and they want to try to be a part of something, and we encourage it. Because we want them to come out. This isn't just something that you do in high school. We try to teach that this is good health the rest of your life. This is something that you can do and participate for a long, long time if you do things right. You can overdo it, and then now you've created some health issues that you don't want to get into. But we try to stress that too as we're going, nutrition and the whole gamut of being a good athlete.
Talk about stretching. People talk about, well, you just stretch a little bit. What do you guys think about stretching?
Well, stretching is extremely important, and getting kids to realize that is not easy, but it's extremely important. I bet we spend half an hour to 45 minutes the first part of every practice doing form running and stretching, and probably half of that is stretching.
Yes.
And we always stretch at the end of practice as well. It's extremely important. We try different stretches every year. We'll talk to trainers. We go to clinics and find some new things to try to keep the kids stretched and ready so that they're less susceptible to injury. So
obviously you want to warm up first with a light run before you start your stretching, and that some of the kids don't understand that you have to warm up first. You don't want to be stretching cold muscles.
When you say light run, what's the definition? Like around the block, or
we tend to do a mile and a half to get yourself going. You want to get a little bit of a sweat going so that your body's warm.
So say we've got basketball player sitting over here in the corner, and if you put him on the track right now,
he runs cross country.
Yeah.
You run cross country? I didn't know that. You guys run cross country? Okay, I didn't know that. You don't count that.
Yeah.
So if you took just a non-traditional track athlete and trained them to be run a mile, okay, the first time they go out to run a mile, what would they run it in? I mean, just all variables, all that stuff, but 20 minutes? 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
Oh, they should be under 10 minutes
They'd
easily.
be easy under 10. Easily.
And what would be a target for a high school miler?
I mean, we've had kids. I mean, a good athlete, run the 16. We want them in the high fours.
Wow.
And for a lady, we'd like them in fives, under 6 if they can get it, or.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Now, what's your best times for running miles?
Oh, I was a
For us?
sprinter. I
You
was
were a sprinter?
Yeah, I was a sprinter
Okay.
when I was.
I was a hurdler and sprints, and I did run the 4x8 though.
Okay, so if you went out and ran a mile right now, what could you do it in? Just be modest. 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 5 minutes.
Nah, mine would probably be in the 8-minute range.
I'd probably be
upper
somewhere
sevens, 8.
probably about 7:30.
Okay, well, JT Burcham wants to run a mile, so we're going to get JT out here to run a mile sometime and go from there. But I know all the activities that you've got going on down at Berne Union, and what we want to talk about today is called the Comeback Project, which you guys have been involved with, and this is really a neat thing. I'm going to let you just talk a little bit about it and how it got started and what the aim of it, because you got some heavy hitters coming in to participate in a basketball game.
Yeah, it should be pretty fun. What all kind of started, our son Cody, he's friends with Maurice Claret, former Ohio State football player, and they've worked out and trained together, and Maurice is a good friend of Corey Gregory, who is co-founder of Muscle Farm, and that's where Cody, our son, works as a social media coordinator.
Now, is that Muscle Farm here in Lancaster? Or?
They're based in Denver, Colorado, but he works out of Newark, Ohio, at the Muscle Farm located there. And so Cody played in a charity basketball game a couple of weeks ago at Hilliard Bradley High School, and they combined their staff, Hilliard, Bradley, Davidson, and Darby, and played against some former OSU players as well as Maurice Claret. And a couple of days later, Cody gave me a call at work and said, "Hey, Mom, how would you guys like to do this at Berne Union? A track could sponsor this." And I go, "I think it'd be great." It was probably back in the late 1980s when we did this. Before we had some former Ohio State basketball players come down and play our staff. And it was pretty exciting, pretty fun for everybody. So it's been a long time since we've done it. We thought it'd be a good thing to pull together again. It kind of unites the staff and gets them out there having some fun, and it gives them a chance to play against some former Ohio State players. The money and proceeds will be split between our track program and the Comeback Project, which is a charity foundation that Maurice founded for underprivileged children. But he's going to come down earlier in the afternoon that day and do an assembly with our high school students and talk about the story of his life, and then trying to get the message across that it's never too late to change the direction of your life. And then after that, him and Corey Gregory are going to join us at track practice and work out with our athletes. It should be a pretty fun day. And then they'll be back in the evening for the basketball game.
And that's going to be Friday, March 20th. The basketball game is going to be at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
It's $10 for adults, $5 for students. You can get them pre-sale.
Yes, should be able to start. I'm picking up the tickets today, and should be able to start selling those out of the office tomorrow.
Okay, or you get them at the door also.
Yes.
When you first were, I know your son was involved with it, but talk a little bit about the Comeback Project itself. I think people were, what exactly are we looking at?
Well, Maurice came from Youngstown, Ohio, if you know a background on him, and sort of lifestyle of some of the kids that he grew up with. But of course, Maurice had spiraled out and had some bad things happen in his life and ended up in prison for 3.5 years. He's now out and reformed and has changed his life, and he goes around and does motivational speeches at high schools and churches and tries to get people to change their life. And he likes to he does that all, like he's not charging us to come down and speak to our high school students for the assembly. As long as the profits all go to his charity, he's trying to work with kids, like some of the kids that were in his neighborhood, that he can help get back on track and
now,
make something with their
if say
life.
other kids want to come to that on the 20th, what time are they going to do it on the 20th? I know the game's at 7, but what time is he going to speak?
The assembly is going to start at 1:30.
Okay. Is that open to other high schools, or is that just?
It's actually just open to our Berne Union students, yes. The assembly is.
And again, that's coming up on Friday, March 20th. The game will be at 7 o'clock at Berne Union. And they're going to be taking on Berne Union Rocket staff members. Who's all playing? Who's all playing?
Are you playing?
I might keep score.
Well, Mr. Spindler, our superintendent's going to play. He's going to get in and try to dunk the ball, he said. Coach Bob's going to play, of course.
I may pay to see Spindler dunk.
We got a couple of our basketball coaches playing and some of our football coaches, so it should be a pretty fun night.
That is going to be interesting. Now, is there a goal, a certain amount of money they want to raise for this? Is it
No, we'll have concessions open that night. We got some halftime activities that's going to bring in some money. They're going to sell T-shirts. So, of course, our goal is to try to bring in as much as we can, because we try to teach our athletes as well that, when you coach kids, it's not always just about that sport. It's about life. Lessons in life, and we try to teach them to be good citizens. And so this is a good community project that, they can see where money will go back to someone that really needs, a program that's going to be effective in their lives. So, we're hoping that it generates a good bit of money, and it's great that we can be on here trying to publicize it a little bit.
And they've got some other players coming in with Maurice Claret that's going to be there?
Yes.
Yeah, Jordan Hall is going to be there, and then Corey Gregory, the co-founder of Muscle Farms, will be playing. C.J. Barrett is going to be there. Trying to think who's Rich Owens, who is one of Maurice's friends. He'll be there.
And then Jamie Wood, he was a Pickerington graduate. He played for Ohio State. He'll be there as well.
And there could be some others come. Maurice said that.
Never know who's going to show
Yeah,
up.
at press time, this was the names that we were given. But there could be a couple additional ones that join that evening.
Getting to watch them play at Hilliard, let me tell you, these guys still are very good athletes.
Really?
They're competitive, so
They are very competitive, and they can play basketball.
So does Berne Union have any ringers coming in, or is this?
We could use a few, I think.
They're going to have. They're going to raffle off some autographed OSU stuff, and
Yes.
they're going to have some T-shirts available too. And, how difficult was to put this together?
it's easier than you think. When our son called, and I thought, well, this really can't be that hard. It's a basketball game. We'll set up the gym, Our parents are fantastic about volunteering when we need them. So, I just kind of made my list of what needs to be done. We need somebody at the admissions table, concessions, certain things. And it's really just not that difficult to put together. When you got a team of people, I've been working with Rich Owens, which is Maurice's manager, and he's been great to work with. He's providing us tickets, and he's been able to do, most of the stuff on his end and take care of things. And it's been great working with him. It's been really good to get back with me on everything that I need as quickly as, because we kind of had a quick turnaround, trying to put this together. But we've got it out. Several media, has helped us out, and a lot of the community organizations are publicizing it for us as well. So.
Well, we hope to have a full gym there.
Yes, we do.
Now, is he going to be autographs? Will he be available after the game to do autographs too?
After the game, they're going to do photographs and autographs. They're going to stick around afterwards.
That's fantastic. And you both are going to play? Or?
I am. I'm trying to tell her that she ought to come
You
out.
should come out and play.
Yeah, I may. I don't know. I don't want to be the only
How
girl
many
playing.
Berne Union people do you have so far?
I have 12 on the roster
Oh,
right
there
now.
you go.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Who's on the roster? Can you read it? Remember or read them off?
Oh, yeah, I can remember.
We'll give them some press time.
Sure, let's do it. Of course, we got Coach Downour here. Coach Cup, one of our football coaches, is playing. Coach Little, he's a teacher down there, but coached at Fisher Catholic. Zach Rodich, one of our high school math teachers. Mr. Parker, high school principal, softball coach, is going to play. Coach Hurst, girls basketball coach. Coach Terry Downour, who's the JV girls basketball coach. Coach Jack McGrady, boys basketball coach. Coach Paul Shoemaker's a boys basketball coach. Mr. Spindler, our superintendent. Coach Wolf, who's also one of our football coaches. Coach Klein, who's a junior high basketball coach. And I think Coach Mason, one of our junior high boys basketball coaches, is also going to play.
That'll be fantastic.
So, yeah.
And I'm sure Brandy Roth, our trainer, will be close by.
I hope so.
Yeah.
With oxygen and ice.
Yeah, we're hoping she can just bring the ice bath right in there on the sideline.
This is fantastic. Again, this is Friday, March 20th at 7 o'clock. It's going to be at Berne Union High School. A lot of activities going on. When you were involved in track, younger and all that, was anything like this ever done? Do you remember anything that you were involved with? Like you brought somebody in to help out or to...
Not track. No, not really.
Yeah. But I do remember them having some motivational speakers, from time to time. We would do some assemblies where they'd bring, people in to talk to the students, which I think is really good. I don't know. I mean, it's been a while. It was like 2002 when I think they won the national championship when Maurice played. So it's been a while, and some of our high school kids may not be real familiar with who that is. So that's why we want to try to, encourage this as well. But some of them have seen the 30 on 30 from ESPN did for the Youngstown boys. And so some of the high school kids have already talked to Mr. Parker and said, hey, I watched that. He's really coming here to our school. Yeah. So there are some that are familiar with that, but hopefully they'll listen closely to the message and take it to heart. So I think it'll be good for him.
You made a point about some of the kids may not know who he is. Now, you've been doing this 30 years, 32 years. What are some of the changes you've seen in kids from when you first started to now? More dedicated, less dedicated? Just talk about just the mindset.
I think the thing I see most is that when we were in high school and just right out of high school, kids then were busy outside all the time, working on the farm, playing, doing things active, where today's might be more involved in being on the computer, doing things that are technical, and not being as active. So when they come to us, sometimes this is the first time they've ever really done anything physical. So we do see that, and it's, in my eyes, it's kind of scary sometimes that our kids aren't as active as they should be. So I'd hope that when they come to us, when they leave, that they continue that the rest of their life, so they understand that how important it is to stay active and be healthy.
Now, do you train together? I mean,
Well, yeah, we
Yes,
run.
yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
so it's all 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It's
Yeah.
it's a lot easier too as coaches when our athletes see us after we've been through their whole practice,
Right.
and they're still hanging around, getting ready to leave. They see us take off on a run.
Take off on a
So it's kind of hard for them to say, "Well, I really don't feel like doing this today," when we're out still running.
Have you ever had an incident where somebody just surprised you? Just thought, boy, this individual.
Oh, a lot of times,
yeah.
yes, yeah. And sometimes we'll find too that there'll be a kid who maybe had never ran before or didn't even play any sports until their senior year, and then they decide to come out their senior year. Oh, we've thought about it. We thought it seemed like a lot of fun. Then they have regrets because they've had a great year and they
Right.
did really well and had a lot of success, and then they're like, wow, I wish I would have done this years ago. But yeah, there are a lot of kids that, you may have a talent in one sport or another, but you just don't know what you're going to have when they come out to the track. And so a lot of times they surprise themselves. That's one of the biggest issues I think we work with our younger kids. We don't have a JV and a varsity. I mean,
Right.
if you're a freshman, you're competing at the varsity level. So building the confidence and that self-esteem in them is something that we really have to work on with a lot of those kids. So.
When do you first start to get involved with coaching kids? I mean, for track? 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th
They-
grade?
It starts at 7th grade.
Seventh
yeah,
grade for
and it
us, that's
started
what's
at
hard.
7th
So
grade.
we're trying, and with cross country, when we have a home meet, we try to have a fun run to get the elementary involved, so that
Sure.
a lot of kids don't even know what cross country is until they see junior high. So we're in hopes that by doing the fun runs that we've been able to get some kids interested, and it's worked the last couple of years that we've had it. We've gotten more kids involved.
Now, weather, cold runners, warm run, what do you guys prefer to do?
I don't mind running in the cold weather if you're talking about personally. Of course, I like the warm weather much better. I like to get a good sweat, when I'm working out. But I don't mind running in the cold weather.
I'm not a cold weather fan when it comes to running. I still have that sprinter mentality, I think, from years ago. I like it very hot when I run.
Now, when you watch the Olympics, are you watching?
Oh.
Look at that! Look at that!
Yeah, technical, and I mean the Penn relays, they're awesome. Yeah, I mean it's fantastic to watch. We just get excited about the sport. It's a sport that we love, and
sure.
A lot of other people find it kind of strange sometimes that you can get into it that much. But it's once you've done it this long and you see that next level of athlete compete, it's pretty exciting.
Is there any place you want to go to that you haven't been able to go to the Olympics or
I would love
whatever?
Oh yeah, we'd love to see the Olympics, but I'd love to go to the Penn relays. I think that would
Now,
be
where,
pretty fun.
Penn, where are the Penn relays? Where are those?
Yeah, Penn State University.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
That's pretty close. So that's not
Yeah.
No,
too
that's
bad.
not too bad. We've been had situations where we were at the up at Ohio State. We've got to see at the Jesse Owens Classic. We were there the day that the 400-meter dash was broken at above sea level, so we got to see that event happen.
Wow.
And then some of the world-class hurdlers were there, so that was pretty neat to watch.
Yeah. But, we've taken our athletes up to the state meet before at the Jesse Owens, and it's hard to describe to them. We like to get our younger athletes to go and support those athletes that are there each year so that they
Right.
can kind of get a feel for what it's about, because it's basically like a little mini Olympics up there. The
sure.
track is completely set up. It's all track oriented, and it's such a neat day. It's exciting for the
We've
kids.
had some very good athletes at Berne Union. We have a state champion.
Yes.
Yes.
Pole vault Jesse Oxley.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that had to be something for both of you guys.
It was
I mean,
it was awesome.
Very exciting. Yeah, he's still competing at Kent State and setting records there as well.
Is
So
he?
Yeah,
yes,
he has the indoor and outdoor record for Kent State University now
And what?
in pole vault.
What is it?
he's a
He's a
junior this
junior
year
in
at Kent
college.
State. Yes.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Every weekend, whenever he goes to an event somewhere, we get text message back.
Really?
Let us know how he's doing.
Yeah.
So the contact is still there. And we still have athletes come back every year in the spring, and they'll come to our practices.
That's good. That's got to be neat for you.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
nice to have alumni back anytime we welcome them. So
So the administration says, "Gee, you guys can have whatever you want. We have an unlimited budget."
You know,
What
wish.
would you do? What would you put in?
I mean, I'd have to think about that. We have a lot of when we put that new track in 2005. Of course, it was a big
Sure.
expense, and then we have to add equipment on top of that, which is a huge expense.
Right.
And our booster club has been just exceptional with providing the things that we need. A pole vault pit and standards. We're talking probably now 15,000, 16,000 easily just for that.
Wow.
And if you got your high jump pit and standards there, but all your hurdles, your starting blocks. I mean, there's just so much
Yeah.
equipment that is involved. But once you get that initial, purchase made, then it gets a little bit less each year. But we basically have. I mean, I don't know. We'd probably order some stuff that we could do a lot more training with. But actually, the track necessities that we have are just what we need. So.
We were in pretty good shape there. I mean, obviously there's always some added things you'd like to have, like at each jump event, you'd like to have the signs that show each where the heights are at and the distance on the shot and discus. Those would be nice to have. Those are extras. But as far as the basic needs, we're well taken care of.
Well, again, we're almost out of time. We've been chatting with Bob and Sonya Downour. They're coming up with a charity basketball game for a comeback project with Maurice Claret. This is going to be Friday, March 20th at 7 o'clock at Berne Union. $10 for adults, $5 for students. Get tickets at the door. You get to Berne Union. You can pick them up.
Yes.
Okay. And then, well, again, it's been great having you. Hopefully, there'll be a lot of people come and
We hope
enjoy
so.
it and be able to raise some money. And I know you guys want to get outside and run and do all those things. Are you going running after this? Is this?
Yeah, we've got practice
We got
after
practice,
this, and it's
yeah.
not raining, so
No,
we'll
you
definitely be
practice
outside.
rain or shine, right?
Yes.
You don't.
Yeah.
Whether it's 5 degrees or 55 degrees.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, again, thanks for coming in today. We enjoy it very much.
Thank
And,
you.
and good luck with the charity basketball game.
Appreciate that. Hope you'll be there.
No, I'm sure I'll be there. I won't be playing. Like I said, I might be keeping score. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. And remember, until we meet again, let's make a difference.
These waters were woven into the culture of Native American tribes. The descendants of the early Europeans built a business here based on agriculture. And today, this unique destination in the central Ohio countryside comes to life with stories and memories centuries old. The Fairfield County Historical Parks invites you to amazing Rock Mill. Above the falls of the Hocking River Gorge, here together, nature and man have created some truly American stories that you'll want to experience with the entire family. Visit us or learn more about Rock Mill and the largest wooden water wheel in the nation at historicalparks.org.